Hi, my name is Johannes. I'm here with Vincent from Accerion, and I understood you're doing something with navigation robots. Maybe you can explain this a little bit.
Absolutely. So we build positioning systems for mobile robots. So position is one of the key elements of navigation, and that's what we focus on.
Great. And what are you doing differently than classical navigation systems?
So, it's a good question. Classical navigation usually uses some form of infrastructure, or laser guidance, or visual guidance, and we find that it's often not flexible enough, the accuracy is not good enough, and it doesn't always work well in dynamic environments. So we thought, is there a different way? And we found one. And the way we solve this is by looking at the existing floor without any changes. And we're able to map, say, virtual landmarks in the floor and recognize them. And basically that allows us to give the position to the AGVs at a very high precision and without any impact from the environment.
That's cool. Absolutely. It's a little bit similar philosophy that we have. We do like the energy transfer. We do wireless charging for the robots, but our philosophy is always to minimize the infrastructure and the efforts that you need to operate the systems. Understood. It's a little bit the same approach you're using. So minimal infrastructure, full flexibility, precise positioning. So,
absolutely,
how do you see like the future of the AGV market? I remember I was here on the LogiMAT first time, I think 4 or 5 years ago, and that was way smaller, and the AGVs was just a little part in one hall, and now it's really big. So it's a growing market. And where do you see the main applications for you?
So we focus on indoor applications in logistics and manufacturing automation. And we see that market is growing so incredibly fast. Last report I read was something like 50% per year. So it's really amazing.
I can confirm,
So, and what we also see is that even though the market is growing really fast, there's still loads of appetite for new and better solutions. And that's of course really good for us.
And then another question, like, do you provide any software around your scanner, or just hardware?
So for us, the real core value is in the software. So it's about, because we solve a really difficult problem. So at a high speed, we want to recognize pieces of the floor and find out where they are exactly in a very large hall. So our real core power is in the software, and that's inside the hardware. We deliver the hardware, and we deliver some software to manage the systems and to like share maps and to send updates and all that kind of stuff. But it's really to support the commissioning process.
I mean, when you do projects with customers, where do you see like the main challenges in the process? Is like the integration of the hardware or the software into the bigger system, and how do you manage this process?
So we initially you always need some. Well, first of all, you need some space in the vehicle, so that's always a big challenge. But usually that can be solved. Software integration is also important. So we have a new concept. So it also requires a little bit of a new way of thinking. But once people get it, we find that it can be very fast. The last integration we did was in an afternoon, just to put it in perspective. And then if you look at actual projects, I find that one of the key limitations in the entire industry is the commissioning time. Because there's not a lot of skilled labor to do that.
Exactly.
And that's why we build different ways to map, working with the customer robots or our own robots.
That's one of the main challenges that we see as well, like the limitation in qualified workforce, especially because now a lot of companies thinking about local manufacturing because the supply chains are disrupted to Asia. So, but I think one big limitation is actually the qualified workers in the logistics, in the production process, and probably the AGV and the automation can help to mitigate.
Yeah, definitely. So in the engineering, I'm not sure, because there will always be but really in the if you go from say manual labor warehouses to automated warehouses, that's it's a huge step in also in like quality and predictability.
So basically, you're targeting the same customers as we do with all the wireless charging. So how would it work?
Support some of the customers.
So how would it work if we have wireless charging in the battery system at the AGV, and you're delivering the navigation system? And So for the charging process, you just program where the charging spot is, and the AGV goes there, or how does it work? Is it?
Yeah, there's different ways. You can. I think the easiest way is what we do is we can map a virtual line onto the pad, and then it arrives at millimeter level accuracy on the pad wherever you guys want it. So I think this is maybe one thing. It goes. So I know you have a loads of tolerance on the. On the pad, so you can do it as accurate as you want. But that's,
does the speed of positioning change with accuracy? Do you have like different modes, or is it always precise and always fast?
So there's so we do two things. So one is the absolute position, so you get real accurate sub-millimeter level. This is where you are, and then between those points, we still have relative tracking, similar to odometry, and that's okay. We can show it here if you want. So that's actually. Roughly as good as normal odometry.
So you basically, it's a little bit, the principle is similar to the QR code system, but without a QR code, right? So you're just taking pictures of the floor, kind of, you recognize them.
It's even better than that. It's similar to QR code tape. So if you had imagine a big warehouse, you place QR code tape in an entire warehouse, but then you don't have to do that. That's what we have.
Great, awesome, very interesting. So thank you very much, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you too. Good luck too.